Amitabha, paying homage to Shifu.
Today, I want to explain something to you. Any Buddhist practitioner should be wise. What does it mean to be wise? In the context of social life, you should understand this: what we Buddhist practitioners are meant to do in this society. First, one must cultivate oneself. In the process of cultivation, one's practice must embody wisdom, justice, and equity. It must also embody compassion and charity. This is what Buddhist practitioners must achieve in the process of cultivation. So today, I will explain to you why equity must be embodied. If a Buddhist practitioner presides over matters without equity, what kind of person do you think such a practitioner is? He can no longer be called a Buddhist practitioner. And charity, what does charity mean? It means being good to everyone. To embody equity is the best form of charity for everyone. Many people show bias and favoritism. That is unacceptable. Today, I will explain to you what equity truly is. Now, who among you can tell me, what is equity? Who among you can tell me what equity really is?
Shifu, does equity mean treating everyone the same?
What you said is too simplistic. People won't really understand it. Fatong, you tell us, what is equity?
Amitabha, isn't equity divided into so-called procedural equity and outcome equity? Procedural equity means everyone has the same opportunities. Outcome fairness means everyone gets the same result, or that everyone has the same probability of those outcomes.
None of these are genuine explanations of equity. Why is that? Because what people call equity for everyone, in reality, must take into account that every person has different conditions and circumstances. In any process, people inevitably embody different ways of life, backgrounds, and situations. So what is the one essential principle through which a society can provide true equity for everyone? Equality of rights. That is to say, in any society, everyone's rights must be equal. No matter what kinds of regulations a society has, as long as those regulations are agreed upon by everyone on the basis of equal rights, then this society is a very high-quality society. Isn't that right? When you talk about so-called procedural equality, there are many situations that simply cannot be judged that way. For example, you work in IT, right? And he does manual labor, laying bricks. What kind of equality do you think that is? Let's say I, your Shifu, am laying bricks, and you are working in IT. Tell me, how are these two professions supposed to be equal? Can this kind of process achieve equality or not?
No, it cannot.
Because they are different. Everyone is different. Right? And then, when it comes to outcome equality, how do you even measure that? A child may only need 10 pounds of food a month, but a grown young man might need 50 pounds a month. An average adult eats about 30 pounds a month. So are you going to give everyone 50 pounds or 10 pounds? If you talk about outcomes, someone might say, as long as I'm full, that counts as equality. Well, that can be discussed. That would turn it into a big communal cafeteria. Eat as much as you want, right? But even eat as much as you want still has problems. Because, after all, children should be cared for by everyone, right? That creates a situation where children are cared for, but adults are not. This is called outcome inequality. Wouldn't you say so?
Yes.
So how do we embody equity? There is only one criterion, only one essential principle: equality of rights. Isn't that so? Everything else depends on each person's own characteristics and all kinds of differences. Under equal rights, each person attains their own processes and their own outcomes. Isn't that right?
Yes, sure, Phil.
Today I've explained to you what equity really is. Next, I will talk to you about war and peace. Why have I been talking so much lately about the Nobel Peace Prize? What exactly is peace? How is peace actually embodied? You don't need to be precise. Just speak your own understanding. It's fine. I will explain it to you.
Peace means no conflict, right?
No. Peace is only spoken of in relation to the existence of war, right? How do we avoid war and make this world free of war? The absence of war is what people call peace. Therefore, peace is fundamentally a lower-order concept than equity. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
The right to define peace can only be grounded in equity. If a society claims it is peaceful, but is not equitable, then that peace has no value, worse even than war itself. Isn't that so? For example, bandits are killing people. Someone says, "For the sake of peace, you can just kill me." The bandits then kill people every day. Tell me, can this kind of peace compare to taking up arms to eliminate the bandits and fight them?
It cannot, sure, Phil.
Now the US president says, "I want to win the Nobel Peace Prize." He doesn't even understand what peace really means. He sides with the powerful and suppresses the weak, aligning with the strong to crush the weak in the name of peace. This is not peace. This is not civilization. This is evil. This teaching of mine can be sent to the United Nations and also to the Nobel Peace Prize Committee. Any peace prize must be based on the use of equity, using wisdom and other means to prevent war from happening, while still achieving the same effect as if a war had taken place. Only such peace deserves to be awarded the Peace Prize. If improper means are used, suppression or all kinds of brutal methods, to force others onto the negotiating table, then such peace is unjust. Isn't it?
Yes, sure, Phil.
Such an unfair form of peace will inevitably be ridiculed by the world, despised by people everywhere, and ultimately rejected by all. Therefore, there's absolutely no basis on which such a person can be recognized or acknowledged. Is that not the case? Moreover, when it comes to the Nobel Peace Prize, which is meant to embody the progress of human civilization, one must conduct a thorough and rigorous examination of whether the individual in question truly upholds fairness. Only on that basis can the Peace Prize be legitimately awarded. This is because the Nobel Prize represents the highest honor in the world, a symbol of how far human society has advanced, and a manifestation of the progress of human civilization itself. Under no circumstances should the Nobel Peace Prize be degraded into something meaningless or debased. That would be entirely unacceptable. Would you not agree?
Yes, sure, Phil.
Therefore, what I'm explaining to you now is the relationship between fairness and war and between fairness and peace. Peace must be interpreted through the lens of fairness. War, too, must be understood through the lens of fairness. If what is called peace is fundamentally unfair, then we would rather face war than accept it. But if peace is grounded in the substance and principles of fairness, then it is a form of peace that all people of the world should genuinely praise and support. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand, sure, Phil. Peace must never come at the cost of fairness.
Of course. To claim, "For the sake of peace, I'm willing to abandon fairness in order to obtain it," is to propose a kind of peace that no one would accept. If a war is fought in order to restore fairness, then such a war is necessary. Had there been no wars fought in the name of fairness, there would be no prosperous or democratic societies as we know them today. Isn't that the case? If all nations were like those evil communist regimes, and if the so-called peace and development they claim to embody were accepted as such, then our world would deserve to perish, because there would be no fairness at all. Isn't that so?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any further thoughts? If there are no more thoughts, then we will leave it at that. After this recording is sent to you, you should all translate it. Translate it faithfully, word for word, and send it to the Nobel Peace Prize Committee. Also, send it to President Trump and to Secretary of State Rubio. Let them understand how issues of war and peace in today's world ought to be handled. All right, that'll be all. Amitabha.
Amitabha Buddha. Bowing to Shifu. Gratitude to Shifu.